Welcome back, everybody. This is High Road Gal, and I just want to check in with you. Um, it's been a rough couple of days because I we had the daylight savings time, right? And I I left my lights on for the first time in 6 months because I woke up a little later and it was a little bit lighter than usual. And so I always turn on my lights when I'm driving in the morning. I drive about 10 minutes to where I have breakfast, and I'll tell you about my daily round another time. But and then when I got there, I park in a harbor and I have a view of the sea and the harbor. And I like to drink my coffee while in my van while I watch the boats go out to sea. It's very, very relaxing. But I must have left my lights on while I was doing that, because I was there for about an hour and went to the bathroom nearby. And when I came back, good old Carlotta did not start up as she usually does. Luckily, I had the AAA app, which I want to recommend to you guys if you stay in a region. They came right away, and I could see them, and they came right away. It didn't cost me anything. So let's get now to the topic at hand, which is weathering the coronavirus in an RV or a van. And this is the first part of an ongoing series that I plan to do as developments and new data come in. Um, I just wanted to say also it's been raining a lot here, and so um, that just brought home to me how important it is to not get a chill and to keep exercising in some small way through this all to support our immune system or my immune system. I can only speak for myself. Everyone's in a different situation and different climate. Anyway, let's get to the list of things, my handy dandy list here, very high tech. Uh, the first, oh, yes. Oh, well, of course, the first thing to keep in mind as you prepare for the coronavirus is what they all have been saying on the news and what you read on the CDC website. Sanitize, wash your hands and all that, and don't touch your face. Now, living in a van or an RV, there are special considerations, that things that, of course, we have to deal with that maybe the general public doesn't. And that is, we're using public restrooms more often than most people. And according to the latest data, I follow various doctors online, and I'll link to one of my favorites. He's really good. He's out of England, and he does 2 YouTube videos a day, all based on incoming data that's scientifically sourced. And his data is good, and his conclusions, I find, are not alarmist, but they're also kind of they're eye openers. You really, if you know all the data, you tend to be more careful. Anyway, he says, according to the latest data coming out of China, is that the virus can survive for some time in urine and in feces. So, if we're tracking it into our van with our shoes, this is not good, right? Or with our hands, or, whatever. We're in the bathrooms where more and more people are. So what I tend to do my number one here in the van with my handy dandy bottle, which I'll show you sometime. It's anyway. Well, maybe I won't show it to you, but it's pretty discreet looking. But I try to do that more often now than I used to. And of course, as a woman, I have also this device where you can, if you're standing, you can pee in a public place. You don't have to sit down and touch anything. But for number two, I just, I don't know. Oh, well, one thing you can do is do what I do is I only come in through the front door, and I bought a WeatherTech floor mat. It's plastic, and it covers the whole area, and I only keep my shoes up in the front, like a little, quote, mud room. I don't bring my shoes back into the van. I always take them off, and of course I always sanitize my hands as soon as I get in the van. I have yet to kind of clean all the surfaces in here, so that's next. I'm going to wait till the weather's better so I can air out the van after I do it. So just keep in mind that the virus can survive for quite some time in urine. So if I were you, I would if you don't yet have access to a 24-hour place, get it in case you get ill and you have gastrointestinal issues, because those are sometimes the symptoms. You want to be able to get somewhere where you can wash up and you can, take care of yourself, stay clean. And when I get into isolation in a bit, and self isolation, or even quarantine, if it comes to that, there are special considerations, of course, that we have, and you've probably already thought of them, like, oh, what am I going to do if I have to be quarantined or isolate? And I will get into that, right now. Mudroom surfaces. Get access to 24 hours, like a co-work space. I'm now renting one that I can do on a month-to-month basis if you can afford it. For me, it's $199. There are some that are $99, but I have found one that is $199. I can get Wi-Fi there, and it's a pretty new place, so there aren't too many people going in and out of there, and it's 24-hour access. So I'm just going to park near there if I get really, really sick, and isolate in my van, and then go there in the night to empty my things. But if you go to Planet Fitness, I have a 24-hour fitness through Anytime Fitness. I also have access to Planet Fitness through my health plan. By the way, there's a really cool program called Active and Fit Direct I got through my health insurance, and it gives me access to LA Fitness, Planet Fitness, Anytime Fitness, and then a couple other local branches. And that's $25 a month through my health insurance. So check your health insurance if you have it. I hope you have it. And see if they have a program like that, because then I can, wherever I go, there's a gym nearby, and I'm especially interested in the 24-hour ones for if I get sick in the middle of the night. I have a porta potty here, which I'll show you guys. I have it covered up inside of an ottoman, but I use it only for brushing my teeth, and I use it as a sink and for brushing my teeth. And I really don't want to do anything else in there, but if I have to, I will. But it's good to have a backup. And I also have an extra little collapsible. It's a little mini collapsible ottoman. I'll link to it on another video when I do a whole thing about that issue. It's good to have backups, maybe some extra plastic bags and something like that. You probably already thought of this, but that's just something to know. The other thing to keep in mind and ways to stay healthy is, I try to go to the gym every few days, take a shower there. And of course the wipes, we in the van life and the RV life know all about wipes and, alcohol-based sanitizers. We are already doing that, but I stocked up a little bit, but not a lot. And now I see, wow, it's gone. It's sold out. So what I found out from the CDC and this other doctor, I can't remember, I saw it online, is that if you get laundry bleach, just be really careful and dilute it to the recommended amount. It has to be super, super diluted with water. That's good for surfaces, and it's not good on your skin. Apparently, go online. I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice, okay? But go online and make sure you do it right. Like I found this whole website for Ebola, for people in poor countries that don't have access to commercial hand sanitizers, or they just don't have or they ran out, or they don't have the budget for it. You can dilute bleach, and then if you get these gloves, non-latex, but you have to be careful. Double check. I don't think that they will disintegrate, these kind of nitrate gloves that I'm going to start wearing. Sometimes I wear these already because I'm kind of a hypochondriac. And I have a good reason, because I have been hospitalized for the flu in the past. I got a really bad one year in my 20s, and I had to go to the hospital. I didn't get pneumonia, but I think I attribute it to just being very stressed out. And so that's another part of our health, is lower your stress. I don't care how you can do it. You know your own body better than I do. Whatever you got to do to lower your stress, now is the time. Whatever works for you. A long hot shower, just chilling in your van, closing your eyes, napping, meditating. There's these meditation apps. I have some where, like have Relax, it's called Relax Melodies. I love it. It's like ASMDR or whatever they call it, where there's these sounds that kind of go, the ocean and stuff. And it gets into my brain waves and it really helps me relax. And I have been treated for anxiety. I have had anxiety attacks in the past. So already I was on top of that issue. Like, I know for my health and for my sleep, I need to deal with my anxiety. So it's natural to be worried and scared of something like this when we don't have enough information. But overreacting is not going to help. It's just going to make it worse. And take from me, I am someone who overreacts. And my dad, for instance, I mean, I have good reasons sometime. I mean, especially if you see what's coming out of Italy right now. It's today's Tuesday, March 11th. So that's the current situation is they're on total lockdown and they have a pretty high death rate. So it's just something to consider. There's a lot of reasons why, which other people with more data and knowledge than I can tell you, it's so high there. But we just don't have enough information to know how this thing's going to mutate, how it's going to spread in our region. And one good thing about being a van lifer or an RVer is, worst case scenario is you could just head on out to the country where there are fewer people and lower rates of transmission. But still, then you got to get your water. You got to take care of yourself if you get sick. And you don't want to get too isolated, because then, what if you're really in dire straits and you need somebody to, deliver your food or something, So anyway, got a little off topic, but it's all related. Get enough sleep. And if you can reduce your anxiety, don't drink alcohol. Don't drink coffee after noon. If you got to drink alcohol, just a little with food earlier in the day, and really, because that affects your sleep. And what was I going to say? Vitamin D. I've been following this one doctor, and he says that vitamin D, and most people in the northern hemisphere have vitamin D deficiency. So I've been taking supplements for years because I had. Let me get to what he said. The doctor said, he said that it helps reduce the risk of getting a respiratory infection if you're sick. It helps reduce the risk of then it going down into your lungs and getting infected. And this is coming from a good source. I'll link to him. This is this doctor out of England who has got all the latest data. He's a good guy, and I trust what he's coming up with and what the data where he gets it. So I would do that, because the second time I got a really bad flu, about 10 years ago, I was severely deficient in vitamin D because I'm a writer and I'm always indoors. I was not going outdoors. And I got the flu that season so bad that I fainted. And my ex at the time, he got it too, but he was fine after a week, and he was up and about and he was just fine. And I was like 3 weeks and I barely ate, and I fainted, and I was really poorly. And if I hadn't had my youth on my side at the time, I mean, a relative youth, I don't know if I would have made it. My dad, I don't know if I mentioned my dad, he's in his early 80s now, but he was just 80 about 4 or 5 years ago, and he was hospitalized with pneumonia for the flu. He was in the ICU. He was intubated for a flu about 5 years ago. So for me, just the regular flu is bad enough for my family. And if I don't take care of myself, and I have no underlying conditions except for those things that I mentioned, just stress and, low vitamin B or D or whatever. So the flu and flu-related things, they're not fooling around. These little buggers are having a field day with our species right now. And so we have to be good to ourselves and good to our fellow human and protect ourselves and take care of ourselves in advance. Okay, I don't find this alarmist to say. What I'm doing, instead of going to the gym on the Stairmaster, which I like to do every few days, is just taking the long walks that I love to take. They're very peaceful. So I go to the marinas near where I am. I'm in Southern California, near a lot of marinas and harbors, where if you're in the northern clime, I don't know what to say, but I would say then you know better than I what the conditions are. I mean, I used to live in Germany in really cold conditions and in New York City. And in the afternoon, sometimes you can take walks depending on the region. So I would just take walks where there aren't a lot of people and there's a lot of fresh air, or go to the gym when there are not a lot of people and a big gym with good ventilation, you know. I would do that. I wouldn't go to a little gym with a little grody gym like some of the ones I've been to when it's crowded. I wouldn't do that. But I would stay active because that's so important for our health, the oxygen, and just keeping a little calmer. I'm not as active as I used to be, but now I'm really motivated to be just that much more active. You can also do stretches in your van. I can do yoga, basic yoga stretches in this minivan, and I think I might do a video on that one day. I don't know if there's enough room. Oh yeah, and by the way, a tour is coming, you guys. I did a bunch of footage of the indoors, different things here. As you can see, it's not the most decorative, and I'm really not a fan of reflectics. I plan to cover that with something girly, but right now this is the way it is right now. Okay, I don't want to run out of time, so I'll wrap it up pretty soon. Enough sleep. Stock up on water because water for us above all, you got to keep hydrated. And if you get dehydrated, it's so easy to get dehydrated. Um, One of my favorite YouTube channels is called Maddie Van Halen. He had an incident where he got a regular, I don't know what he had, a cold or whatever, but he got dehydrated just he wasn't drinking enough fluids and he didn't know it. And he fainted afterwards. And it's so easy for us because, you know, we don't want to have to keep going pee and fill up all our pee bottles or whatever. I got more pee bottles, by the way, for that reason. So I would say stock up on water above all, and paper towels, and it's hard. They take up a lot of room, but what are you going to do? You know, if you get sick, you need them. You're going to be there for a couple of weeks in your van. Or you need those. You need the water, and keep drinking it. Keep filling those bottles. Drink water. Do it. I don't care. You just make yourself do it. Don't worry about all the bottles around you. Like, you know, what was that movie about Hearst? Well, no, not Hearst. That famous guy who was rich. Oh man, anyway. I'll talk about. I can't remember. In my dotage, I forget things sometimes. Okay, yeah, stay warm. If I use this hot water bottle, I don't need to right now, but when we had a cold snap here in Southern California, I used that, heat it up in my handy dandy 12-volt water heater. You got to drive about 10 minutes. I don't like to have an open flame in here, even though I do have a small butane stove. I don't use it in here. But if you're getting a chill, don't get a chill. Stay warm. And take care of yourself. Okay, I'm probably running out of time. Yeah, those are the basics. This is an ongoing series as we get new data. And stay tuned for a tour one of these days. I got the footage and now I have to figure out how to edit it all together. Thanks for sticking with me. And I am looking forward to seeing you guys again next time. Take care, stay well, and yeah, please subscribe. Okay, talk to you again soon. Bye, guys.